Hello, my name is Karle Roberts, and I'm the Family Engagement Coordinator here at Compass Charter Schools. I would like to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to listen to this recording. I would also like to thank our talented guest presenters that we have today, Julie Frost. She's one of our amazing high school teachers and one of our talented AVID coordinators. She's taken time out of her busy schedule to help with this presentation, so thank you, Julie. Today, we are going to be sharing with you some ideas and resources to help you help your scholars learn how to use Cornell Notes. Before we begin, I'd like to take a quick minute to remind you that at Compass Charter Schools, we have 5 core values. These are achievement, respect, teamwork, integrity, and communication. These serve as our guiding principles for our scholars, learning coaches, and our staff. Each month this year, we have been taking the time to focus on one of our core values, starting with achievement and working our way through to communication, as we know the importance of our core values and we want them to remain in the forefront of all of our minds. Again, I'm so glad to have you joining us as we are looking deeper at the learning coach and how you can help your scholar learn to use Cornell Notes. Julie Frost is going to be covering why you should take notes and what are the steps to Cornell note-taking with the Cornell method. When should you take notes? What is different about Cornell Notes? What do you put on the left side? And some tips about the right side of the paper. Also, if you would like to learn a little more about other forms of note-taking and a deeper look at why note-taking is so important for your scholar, we will have a link to another Coach's Corner that is titled Help My Scholar Needs to Better Note-Taking Skills, which you can find in the description of this video on our YouTube channel. We will also have a helpful resource page to help assist you with this topic that will be available for download of the description of this video. So now I'm going to hand it over to Julie, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Karle. Hi, everyone. It's really great to be here. My name is Julie Frost, and I am an English and AVID teacher here at Compass. And I just wanted to take a little bit of time to share with you a scientifically proven effective note-taking method, which is Cornell Notes. So why take notes? The obvious reason is to remember. Visual note-taking translates what we hear into pictures that give context, color, and meaning by adding like symbols and visual metaphors and likenesses of people and room layouts and dimensions and all of those things to our notes. We can really enhance what we retain. So why should you take notes? That is one of the biggest things. You should take notes to minimize your rate of forgetting, and this is really important. If you don't take any notes at all and you don't interact with your teachers, your classes, your learning labs, the content of your course, you will forget 60% of what you went over within 14 days. Now, if you take organized notes and do something with them, like this system has set up for you, you will remember 90 to 100% of what you learn. You will retain it. So that's a pretty big deal. So what are the steps to taking Cornell Notes? First, you set up your page. You draw your margins. There's going to be a little example of that here in a minute. You label everything clearly. It's very important to say what the notes are, what notes you're taking, class, stuff like that. You use all your best strategies for note-taking, and we'll go over some of that in a moment. You actively listen to, or actively read, you actively listen in your learning labs, to videos and other things in your courses, and ask questions. If you're in your course and you're not with your instructor and you have a question, write it down, ask your instructor later. You review, revise, and reflect on your notes. You highlight things, you edit things, you circle important things, and it's all a part of this Cornell note-taking process. And then you write questions and a reflection. Once again, all of these things are designed to help you retain the information that you're learning. So here's a basic setup for Cornell Notes. And the big thing on the top here is we have the title of what you're taking notes on. If it's math, quadratic equations, or English, Romeo and Juliet, or history, Battle of the Bulge, you would put what you're taking notes on at the top. Then you see you have a skinny column on the left and a big column on the right, and then another small column on the bottom. In this big column in the middle, that's where you take your notes, okay? So during your lectures and learning labs, main ideas and concepts, those things in bold or section titles in what you're reading in your course, things like that. Don't copy word for word, paraphrase. Put things in your own words, because when you put things in your own words, you remember it better. So every time you get like a new definition or a new concept, you kind of leave a little room, skip a line, leave a little space. So that way you can go back and take notes and add questions you might have later. Avoid writing incomplete sentences. Bullet points, paraphrase, phrases, keywords, things like that that are important for you to remember. And remember, you can draw pictures, you can use diagrams, you can do all kinds of things that help you remember. Some of you are super visual, so you draw pictures and that helps you. So stuff like that can really help. Now, in the left side is where we call the recall column or question column. This is where you add questions, where you review your notes and add questions as soon as possible after you're done taking notes. So when you're done taking notes, you sit down and you go over this left-hand column. And we'll go over more in a minute about what you put there. And then the bottom, you summarize all the main points, just a few sentences where you summarize the main points of the notes you took. And we'll go over that in a little bit as well. So what do you notice is different about Cornell note-taking? Cornell notes are divided into two main parts: questions and notes, big section, and then the skinny section on the left. Then there's a reflection at the end or a summary on the bottom. There is room for like a topic, there's room to take notes. And the notes are always labeled, like what you're taking notes about. Very helpful, so you know when to go back and what to study for. So when should you take Cornell notes? Well, Cornell notes are a record of your learning. So when you listen to a lecture or a learning lab, when you read text in your course, when you watch a film, either in learning lab or in your course, like the videos and stuff that are sometimes included there, when you work in a group activity in learning lab, like in a breakout session, things like that, when you need to recall important information for a test. So basically, you should be taking notes all the time. So this is getting to that left-hand side. What types of questions should I put there? And I hear this a lot from scholars. Questions are answered in the notes so they're questions that can be answered by the notes on the right-hand side. So let's say you take notes and you said, the Battle of the Bulge took place during World War II. So you would write a question, say, when did the Battle of the Bulge take place? You also try and think of questions that the teacher might ask on a test or that might be included on one of your exams. So you might say, what is a quadratic equation? Or was Romeo a Montague or a Capulet? Those are the kinds of questions that you ask, and they can be things that you already have answers to in your notes, or they could be things that you need to have answered still. So let's say you don't know something, and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to know if Romeo was a Montague or a Capulet, or I really want to know when the Battle of the Bulge took place. You would write those questions down so you can get the answers to them and include them in your notes. These questions force us to go into higher level thinking. We start to think about things at deeper levels, which helps us retain the information. It's moving beyond just a simple, read and summarize what happened. So it's really, really good to help us retain the information. So what else could you place on the left side? Key vocabulary words that you might need to know, diagrams or figures of those vocabulary words, steps in a solution process, like for science, notes to yourself about other things you need to take, like I need to study, I need to ask my teacher this, that sort of stuff. So on the right-hand side, here are some more tips for taking good notes. And this takes practice, and the more you do it, the better you'll get at getting stuff down on that right-hand side. So write only what's most important, like the words in bold and stuff like that. Listen for repetition and ideas, like if a teacher repeats themselves, that might be an important concept. Like volume, numbering, just explicit clues. Like if you see bullet points in what you read, those points might be important to remember. Watch for gestures, like when we're talking in Learning Lab, like if I'm in my video and I'm talking like this, It might mean that it's an important concept and I should pay attention and take notes. Look for material being written down or shared on screen by your teacher in learning labs. That would be important information to pay attention to. And don't worry, like if you are having trouble and you're like, I don't know what to write, Miss Frost, help, or to any of your teachers, you can always go ask. Just ask your teacher if your notes are in keeping with what you need to remember, and they'd be happy to help you. So the other things on the right are write things in your own words, as we already discussed. Use abbreviations. You can draw figures or diagrams if it'll help you remember. Leave space, like if you think you might need to add more information. Use bullet points, just really short statements. And here's the biggest thing I have a problem with. I'll admit it. Write legibly, write clearly, so when you go back to read your notes, you can actually read what you wrote. So here are some ideas to think about. How does taking effective notes help you become a better scholar? And then how can you integrate note-taking skills into all of your courses and subjects? So I just want to thank you all for being here. And we have some pretty great resources for you about this note-taking system and others. So thank you, Mrs. Roberts, and I will see you guys all later.
Thank you so much, Ms. Frost. So learning coaches, are there any resources that were mentioned that you've used? Have you tried Cornell Notes before? Do you have any recommendations about Cornell that you would like to share with our fellow learning coaches or our staff? And maybe something that we didn't mention that or a tip or a trick, and you'd like to share them with your learning coach peers, please feel free to post them to the comments of this video, or you can send them over to info@compasscharters.org. If you have any questions about this presentation, or you have an idea for a topic that you would like to see presented, please feel free to email us at info@compasscharters.org, and we would be more than happy to help you. Also, you can post any suggestions to the comments of this video. Compass Charter Schools is so thankful to have you as a part of our Compass family. Thank you again for taking the time today to watch this recording. Be sure to look over our other topics that are on our YouTube channel, as we have many resources available for our learning coaches, and we are adding more. So we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.